Hello everyone and welcome back to the S1R21 Ferrari Driver Career Mode. We're back for part 2 of round 21. We've got a partially wet, partially dry qualifying session and full Grand Prix it looks like. After having a kind of shaky sprint race with those glitches, but hopefully that won't be the case with the Grand Prix itself. But yeah, let's go into qualifying, see how high we can get up the grid, and maybe try to take some more points out of Max Verstappen. At the moment, we are still sitting in second, obviously, as I showed at the end of the last round. It is a, 46-point gap. And I was just looking here. Max has one more win than we do. However, it seems we've been more consistent throughout the season than the Dutchman. In terms of podiums, we've only finished off the podium 3 times this, 4 times. No, yeah, 3 times. That was right. 3 times, excuse me, throughout the season. And then we have had 5 mechanical DNFs. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Wow. The only crash we've had is in Jeddah, right? Saudi Arabia was the only actual crash we have had. And we have finished on the podium for the last 3 Grand Prix. Let's see if we can keep that going. And the only driver to score points, or to not score points, I guess I should say, is Logan Sargent, now, who almost scored his first points of the season in Mexico on the second-to-last lap. He was 9th, and then was overtaken into turn 1, and then just absolutely overtaken by everybody down the back straight, and ended up finishing 14th when starting the lap in 10th, so heartbreak for the American. So, we'll see if he keeps his seat next season. Anyway, enough of my waffling on. Let's jump into qualifying.
It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
And now, as I'm trying to start my first run, I just gotta let a few cars by now, as there goes past us. And the RB car, I believe that was.
Okay, we've been pushed down to P12.
And of course we haven't set a lap yet. So now we should probably get to that. As now we're gonna power all the way down the main straight, down into turn 1, the Senna S at almost 210 miles an hour, braking all the way down into 3rd gear, and then nice and easy on the throttle down through the rest of the S, as now we head on the Curva del Sol onto the Retro Pasta, and then the Cita del Lago down here, the fast-ish left-hander, and then this is completely flat out all the way up towards Ferradura, now down 2 gears, and then we can get on the throttle nice and easy on these fresh soft compound tires. Not as easy to do that on race fuel, adding those extra kilos, and on more worn tires, so that will definitely be a factor for the Grand Prix tomorrow, no matter where we qualify. As now we head all the way down, flat out through here, now completely hard braking, but once you get the line right through that final corner, Jinsao, and now Max Verstappen sets a benchmark of the 108.2. However, we're going to come up across the line. What kind of time is it? And it is behind him by 3.5 tenths. So that was a monster of a lap from Max Verstappen, it seems, as Lewis Hamilton goes ahead of me, as does George Russell. Well, now at the end of qualifying 1, we have Max Verstappen from Lewis Hamilton from Charles Leclerc. And as we can look here, we have, both Haas cars making it through, as well as Alex Albon again. So we have out in Q1, Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, Logan Sargent, and Lando Norris, surprisingly. So he must have got put in some traffic there. About 2 tenths, give or take, 3 maybe, from making it into Q2. And then Zhou Guanyu will be qualifying last. Look at that, he's nearly a second, or over a second slower than the next car ahead of him. So very embarrassing pace there from Zhou Guanyu. So Max Verstappen clearly showing that it was not his fault of his qualifying position for the sprint race. He got caught out by the rain. But it is supposed to rain later on in this qualifying session. Can we see a similar effect? Well, you really can see, just in that little time period, for preparation for Q2 at the end of Q1, the little gap between them, you can just see how much the clouds have come over this circuit. And the sun is now completely gone, which means rain is going to be upon us very, very soon. Well, now as we head up towards the line, what kind of lap time are we going to set? It is going to be P3 behind Fernando Alonso, 5/10 off Alonso, in fact. So clearly not the greatest lap in the world, although Verstappen is even lower down. So track condition and evolution, clearly playing a major role in this qualifying session. Well, now here at the end of Q2, Fernando Alonso tops the timing sheets. Nobody went out for a second run because of the rain. From Oscar Piastri is Alonso, the man who won his first title, actually on the day of recording this, to the very day, back in 2005, 21 years ago, which just seems absolutely insane now. And Pierre Gasly up in third in his Alpine, so he manages to get through. And it looks like Checo and Max just barely squeezing through. If they would have waited longer to get out of the laps, they might have ended up in a position such as George Russell, who's knocked out, as well as Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, and Nico Hulkenberg. Well, at the moment, seems full wets are the tire to match the track conditions, which I'm not sure if we've had any running in full wets this season, in a qualifying session at least. Although I do have a bad memory, so correct me if I'm wrong. And now, trying to get a good line through Curva del Sol. You can see the dry line kind of forming, where we are not dry, but the less wet line, I guess, where the cars have been going over. Now, I'm not sure if these conditions are going to lighten up. You'd imagine they would, but who knows. Brazil qualifying usually provides us with some spectacular displays of how track improvement and track condition are absolutely crucial. Because now we're trying to just get the car nice and tucked up through here, but just under acceleration, not wanting to get planted out of some of these slower corners. And now can't take it flat out like I'd want to. And now I need to get on the power as soon as I can out of Junsao, the final corner, and stay on that racing line to get the optimal amount of straight line speed. And now we're going to head up towards the line. This is our first run of Q3, and it's only good enough for 8th, unfortunately. Well, everybody else seems to have gone out for their runs, so now I'm going to do the same. It doesn't seem to be raining as heavy. This is the same set of medium tires we were just on. Yeah, I can already feel there's a lot more grip, and I have some more confidence. Now you can see how much faster it is already, so we should see the delta go up on our lap time. I'm still extremely cautious into turn 1. As now the car doesn't want to get planted through Curva del Sol. We're 3/10 down now, as the rain is picking up through this part of the lap for sure. As now we lock the rears a little bit and we go wide. This lap is pretty much a write-off now, unfortunately, but we're still going to keep it going, see what time we can set. Well, we did manage to make up just a little bit of time in the middle sector, but then just lost it all again, as now we head up towards the line and we're 7/10 down on our lap. At us, I believe P8 for the Grand Prix tomorrow. So obviously our pace in the wet is pretty sloppy. Well, Charles Leclerc quickest at the end of the qualifying session here from Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Pierre Gasly, once again starting ahead of us here at the Brazilian Grand Prix, and then ourselves, Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon. So obviously some more points up for grabs for Alpine, Haas, and Williams. As now we'll see what we can do. I think we should be able to recover to the start of the field. But once again, there is wet weather forecast for the Grand Prix, so our pace is definitely going to be fluctuating, and the track will be improving up and down for the whole race, so we need to stay completely focused. Let's do this thing.
Welcome along then to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the very final corner. And just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 left turns and 6 right turns for a total of 15 corners. It's a wet one today as well, so grip and visibility will be at a premium, and the drivers will need to be careful coming up the hill in Sector 3, the scene of many an accident over the years. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Mr. Monaco, Magnussen, Russell, Stroll, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Sargent, Norris, Joe, Albon, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Ocon, and Max Verstappen completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say they've got the better of them more often than not. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, here we go now for the start of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. As looks like it's going to be wet up until the end of the race. Now remember, during the sprint race, we had that weird thing where we had 2 red flags. So might we see the same thing again here? If we do, it's crucial we make up positions. Also, the other big news, Max Verstappen taking grid penalties once again. These grid penalties are going to lose him his 4th championship, as we will be starting up in 5th with our teammate on pole position. So this will really help us take some points out of Red Bull once again and further extend our lead in the Constructors' Championship. And it is my chance to try to gain some points on Max Verstappen. We've got 3 races to go. We've got Las Vegas and Qatar, which is a sprint weekend, and then, of course, the finale in Abu Dhabi. I've always missed Brazil being the final race of the season. You know, we had great title deciders 2007, 2008, 2012. Always been great. And actually, you know what? I'm wondering if it's going to become wet, because the rain does seem to be falling a little heavier. So I don't know if we'll have to go into the wet tires at all in this race, but that'll make things even more complex. So track position is going to be absolutely crucial at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway. These are wet conditions here today. Each driver will no doubt be mindful of the wet surface as they prepare to race around the track.
Well, as you can see there, Alonso starting 3rd. Could he get another podium for Aston Martin this season? He's been performing sublimely so far this year.
So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
Well, we can't really have a strategy in place when we don't know what the weather's going to do. Now, can we? As we line up in our grid spot behind Pierre Gasly and in front of Kevin Magnussen. As you can see, Esteban Ocon lining up 19th and Max Verstappen rounding out the grid on the back row in 20th position. And the green flag is going to be waved, as now we have 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go. We weren't held very long. Our initial getaway wasn't as good as the rest, but now in the second phase, we absolutely skyrocket down into turn 1, try to keep control of the car into turn 1 with Fernando Alonso, as he just has to back out as we're trying to take P3, but we're going to have to go off the ideal racing line, as now we are going to power down the Red Pasta towards the Esquina del Lago. Are we going to be able to make a move on the two-time world champion of Formula 1? No, we're not. And Sergio Perez takes the lead from our teammate Charles Leclerc. And we're currently running 4th. Good thing we made it in front of Gasly. And now as we head through Ferradura, trying to keep the car in check. This is where the red flags were occurring in the sprint race. Let's see how it is this time around.
Red flag. Keep the delta positive, and let's have you straight to the pit lane, please.
Oh, there we go.
On track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now.
So it seems that that is the case even in the Grand Prix. And oh, there it is. Team recommending wet tires. We're going to go with what they say and go to this other restart. According to what happened last time, as it's lights out and away we go for a second time. I get a freaking awful start there, as now we are just trying to keep control of our car through these corners as we're all the way down in 7th. That was a terrible start and very, very frustrating because there was no reason for it. As now we can see ahead of us George Russell.
They've pitted as well, so warm up your tyres and get down the road.
As this game is just so buggy. It's full of bugs and it needs to stop. Cody's EA, I need you to fix this game. Please, how did we go from F123, that masterpiece, to now this? As we're going to head through Ferradura again, I want to make up a position here. In the sprint race, there were 2 red flags. So now we're going to send it up the inside on George Russell, and we do make that move stick.
Red flag. No overtaking, please. We'll see you in the pit lane.
And there's the other red flag. Now it's crucial we get another good start. Because if we get a bad one, we'll drop out of the points. As are we still going to be on the wet tires?
But this is a chance to take a breath. We've got another half of this race to go, and there's still a big opportunity there.
Nope, back on intermediates. Hopefully, that will be the final red flag of this session, as now we have 5 red lights once again. And for a 3rd time, it's going to be lights out. And away we go as we get a decent start, but not as good as Russell behind us, as now we're all going to file into turn 1 as I go into the back of the Alpine there by mistake. Braking way early was Pierre Gasly. And now we're going to get up the inside of Magnussen. What was that? As Mark is just yapping in my ear at the start, I can't stand it. This is just absolute chaos here in Interlagos. So we've gone from running 4th to now 5th. Well, instead of a red flag, it deployed this safety car, which I guess is better. I want to see if we have any front wing damage.
We've made our 2 scheduled pit stops now, so this is a genuine fight for position. We should be pretty level on pace, so come on, let's go.
Engineer quiet.
Copy.
Just had to tell Mark to shut up there. As, yeah, we do have a little bit of front wing damage, unfortunately, from that contact with Gasly into turn 1. I really want them to fix this bug, because by the time we get to Brazil next season, I can guarantee that they won't fix it nearly, because they take so long to fix these kinds of bugs. And now we're going to catch the safety car queue, which will at least give us a chance to kind of calm things down a little bit, as now at the end of the Red Pasta, the safety car parks up. And now Yes, we're going to be behind Kevin Magnussen. So Fernando Alonso right now leads the Grand Prix. And what happened to Checo? Not sure what happened to Sergio Perez here in this race, but he dropped down to last. I must have missed something there. So apologies for that. So much chaos, I didn't even have time to look at anything else. Because that feels like I would have noticed that. So now this will give us a chance to kind of cool ourselves down and get dialed back in. I don't know what I'm going to do if it just keeps deploying safety cars and stuff. And red flags through that section. Very, very abnormal kind of bug. So now we just gotta sit the rest of this safety car out.
No overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Well, the safety car is in this lap now, and just gotta wait for Fernando Alonso to get going here. Should be any moment. As there he goes now. And now we're gonna get on the power. And look how much of a better start we had than K-Mag. Oh, as we nearly cleared the Haas driver there, but not enough in it, as there's Lance Stroll behind us, his teammate currently leading this Grand Prix. And so this is a very strange race so far. I'm only on lap 8, although technically it's like lap 4 for racing laps. Not even. We've had, like, in total a lap and a half of racing. We haven't even had any racing yet.
Okay, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I really don't know, because if this continues for the rest of the race, what is gonna happen? Very strange here at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. I'll just have to figure it out as the race goes, I suppose. Well, now the safety car picks us all up at the end of the Retro Pasta once again. And I'm really hoping we won't have to spend this entire race stuck behind the safety car. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly. This glitch is just game breaking. And if it happens again, I think I know what I'm in for. But it only did it twice in the sprint race and didn't deploy a safety car. Only those red flags. So, yep, very frustrating times at Interlagos.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car in this lap.
Well, now we're gonna have another chance to get past Kevin Magnussen heading up towards the line, but we gotta time it perfectly. Verstappen versus Russell Zandvoort 2022 style. As now here we go. We're gonna tuck into the slipstream of Kevin Magnussen. Can't overtake him before the line. However, we are going to get him right after the line now. Well, now we are going to lose a position to Lance Stroll unless we can get up the inside. Well, late move there from Lance, as this is just a terrible race. I really I'm hoping that this is going to be the last time we have the safety car and we can just have continuous running in this race. But I'm going to try to send one up the inside on K-Mag. Maybe into here. Yes, as we do make it stick. And now as we... Yep. God!
Drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Ridiculous, EA. I mean, come on. This is just... I'm getting frustrated now. Lap 11 of 36, we've had no full racing laps. Well, once again, at the end of the Retro Pasta, we are picked up by the safety car. Well, while we were worried about the safety car, Lewis Hamilton has a mechanical DNF, and he is out now of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Well, the safety car in at the end of this lap once again, and the track certainly seems to be drying out some more, so maybe after pit stops happen, the safety car will stop, hopefully, as now we need to try to make up a position here on Pierre Gasly. As now, here we go, off the restart. Trying to get him down into turn 1. Can we be later on the brakes? Oh, it's so difficult not to go onto the grass there on the outside, but now we do make our way up into 3rd position. Next up is our teammate, Charles Leclerc. And the safety car, before we get to that silly little corner that keeps bringing up the safety car for some reason, we can try to pull away from Gasly, I guess, to maybe stop a concertina. I don't know if it's a concertina effect causing it. I don't know if it's just a bug. I don't know what, because it didn't do this in the sprint race. So now as we head through here, no safety car? Are we actually going to have some running in this Grand Prix? Yes. It looks like we might now, as the track certainly seems to be drying out a lot earlier than expected. Oh, well.
Stay positive.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
Spoke too soon, it seems. As so maybe it is a concertina effect, because we had just started to spread out the field up here, and then in the rear it wasn't as spread. So maybe that is what it is. As now we are going to dive into the pit lane, and we're going to go for a double stack. It is about time for the dry tires, though. As now we are going to have to wait behind our teammate Charles Leclerc, but it is better than staying all the way out. As now we need to get this done here and now. Everyone seems to be going to the hard tire. I thought I could take the mediums to the end. I might have made a bad choice here. As now we are down to 10th because we had to lose all those positions through the safety car queue. But honestly, 10th is better than nothing. Although I'm not very happy about that, though, I have to say. As Alonso leads, I believe. Well, net leads, I suppose. As now, those drivers are into the pit lane.
Speed. Our delta's too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
So, yep, 6th place for us. Let's see what we're able to do once the safety car comes in. Well, safety car in once again. We're behind George Russell, so we're going to be looking to take P5 from him. As now we're just waiting for Alonso at the head of the field to go. Now, and there he goes. As now we need to time this perfectly once again. As I do manage to do that. But we can't get ahead of the Mercedes driver, or can we? Can we stick the nose up the inside? Yes, we can. He just saw us last moment there. And now we are going to lose a position to Lando Norris. So the outside line through Curva de Sol clearly is not the line that you want. As now, there they go, fighting ahead of us. Can we snooker up the inside of Lando and take that position back? Heading up through... Ooh. Here. And now this is the infamous corner where the safety cars have been coming out, and yep.
Slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
That is our 5th safety car. EA, I'm so pissed at you. Well, the 7th time the charm here at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Will we finally have a full lap of clean running? I highly doubt it, if past experiences are anything to go by. As now, here we go on Lando. We need to get this done here. Oh, as I just go into the back of Russell there, we're just going to barge our way by, I suppose. That was an accident on my part, but we make up 2 positions. Can't really complain, as you gotta do everything you can in a stupid situation like this. As finally feels very nice to get the Formula 1 car going once again, but we will just be ground to a halt. Luckily, 2 laps from the end, you are not allowed to, or it can't deploy the safety car. So we will have clean running at the end of this race. However, the safety car should come out about now.
An incident on track resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car.
No safety car? There's no safety car? There wasn't a safety car, everybody. Oh my gosh. 5th time was the charm in terms of safety cars, and now we're going to get a great run on K-Mag. I actually wasn't expecting this. I'm totally unprepared. As now Fernando sets the fastest lap of the race. We're going to try to go up the inside as K-Mag locks up. Kevin Magnussen goes straight on while running in a brilliant P4. He locks up and goes straight off the track. Well, I'm going to be heavy at the end of the race, Mark, because I have 5.5 laps of fuel extra because of all the safety car laps we've been doing. So, yeah, we are going to be heavy. But we can still win this Grand Prix at the moment. We are running P4. But remember, we do have those medium compound tires that are going to be much grippier than these hard runners, and they've been conserving them with the safety car very nicely. So this is going to be one full lap of racing complete, everybody, as now this is going to be the move for the podium, as I exceed track limits just a bit there, but no harm done, as now I go up the inside on Pierre Gasly. He doesn't lock up like Kevin Magnussen did, but he does concede the position to me. He knows his race isn't with me today, and K-Mag will be kicking himself. That's crucial points lost for Haas. As now we are going to head down into the Cena del Lago. And now Leclerc's all over the back of Fernando Alonso. One Ferrari driver current versus a former Ferrari driver. Fernando Alonso lost a 3rd title here back in 2012. 2 titles he could have won with Ferrari, but came up short on both occasions. Nothing short of remarkable was Fernando Alonso dragging that 2012 Ferrari to a title battle in the final round of the season, as now we have gone purple in the 1st and 2nd sector, so clearly our grippy tires showing a lot of pace here, as now we're going to get an incredible slipstream from our teammate, as now he is going to force us nearly into the pit lane, as now here goes Fernando Alonso defending to the inside. Charles Leclerc is going to harvest some battery to use down the red pasta, and now I'm going to try to get kind of a switchback style move here around the outside of Charles Leclerc. Now, and can we make this a double move as Fernando Alonso just opens up the line for me to go right the way around the outside. And similar to how we did in Mexico, we take the lead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix here on lap 23. Well, over the past few laps, I have been using the compound of tire difference to my advantage. I have now pulled out a 1.5 second gap to Fernando Alonso behind us. Max Verstappen has recovered to 9th, and he needs to clear some of the cars in front of him, which he should have no problem with, considering that they are lower midfield cars, which don't belong up where they are at the moment. So, a heartbreak for us. As we prepare to head into the Skin del Lago once again. This is such an iconic track, is Brazil. I remember the iconic radio message of Ayrton Senna screaming after he won his home race. I believe he was stuck in 6th gear. He was having major gearbox issues, as you can see. Losing just a little bit of grip through there. There's about 10 laps to go. These tires can make it to the end, but I'll have to manage them very wisely, and I'll have to control the tire slip. And the cars behind me will start to gain on me as the laps count down. There will be a crossover point where the hards become less degraded than my mediums, and they will in turn become faster than me. But not really focused on that right now. I'm focused on setting faster times so that that will not be as big of an effect at the end of this Grand Prix. Well, there we go. Looks like Charles Leclerc just made a move on Fernando Alonso, so now it is a Ferrari 1-2 here in Interlagos. Great stuff. We're showing phenomenal pace, and this can take a big chunk out of Red Bull and the constructors. Well, now as we head into the Senna S for the final time in this Grand Prix, lap 36 of 36, the race started off very glitchy. Half the race we spent behind the safety car. There was no transition to dry tires to play for the strategy, unfortunately, because we would have gone from inters to wets to inters to dries, and it would have been a very, very complex and strategic race. But wasn't to be, I suppose. But now, as we are going to head through this middle sector, as I said, for the final time, we can get the power planted through here. After a long and hard fought, battle at the start to get past Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso, it is going to be, as we round the final corner, we're going to deploy the battery all the way down the main straight. And now it is going to be 3 in a row, a hat trick of wins. We win the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Get in there.
Race then, very much as we've come to expect, and a fantastic victory here at Interlagos.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Well, it is a Ferrari 1-2 here at the end of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. 3 in a row now, taking 26 points as we show the trophy to our team and pump it up in the air. They cannot be more delighted that we're pushing for the championship late in the season here. Lando Norris comes home third. Once again, it's Red and Papaya on the podium, spraying the champagne. And now this brings us even closer to Red Bull in the Drivers' Championship.
It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, we do gain 26 points on Max Verstappen in total. He scored 6 in the race. However, we scored 6 in the sprint race as well, which means we are going to up the equivalent of a win and a sprint race, which means we are now 26 points behind Max Verstappen in the championship. 3 races to go, which means it is going to be we have 3 races, 25, 75, plus the sprint race, which in Qatar, which will have 8 points up for grabs, not 10, as a mistake I made in a previous video. Apologies for that once again. And then we will have the fastest lap bonus points, of course. So plenty of points up for grabs here at the end of the season. Charles Leclerc pretty much out of contention now, but you never know, as Logan Sargent still yet to score points, unfortunately. And now in terms of the constructors' standings, we pull forward 63 points is now the gap. So we have now nearly wrapped this up. Can we win the constructors' title for the first time for Ferrari since 2008? That was so long ago now when you think about it. And from Red Bull, the McLaren, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Alpine, and RB, Kick Sauber, and Williams locked in a tight battle for 8th, and Haas all the way down in 9th. Crazy to think that Alex Albon has scored all of their points single-handedly. But yeah, this was... I'm wondering if the safety cars cap out at 5 per race, because it just stopped after that. But I'm not sure. But Cody's you need to look into this. It is just, that's a ridiculous bug. But yeah, that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe and turn that bell on, because you'll know when the next round has been completed and uploaded, and you can see all of the closest racing action here on my channel. And Scuderia Ferrari on top in Sao Paulo. We do it again. And I'll see you guys in the next video. The next race will be in Las Vegas under the lights.